I am Mira, 28 years old, and until 6 weeks ago, I was just a florist. Arranging bouquets in my small Oregon shop, dreaming of my wedding day. My sister Tessa was my closest confidant, the one who braided my hair as a child and promised to stand by me always. But when she stood up during my wedding ceremony, tears streaming, claiming my fiancé Liam had cheated, I watched my perfect day shatter like glass. As guests gasped and the organ music faltered, I realized she'd planned it to steal my spotlight, to make it her moment. I didn't cry or scream. I just walked away from the altar, my white dress trailing behind me. She thought I'd break, that I'd let her ruin my life without a fight. But 12 days later, with 19 missed calls from her, I was ready. With a plan she never saw coming. If you want to see a sister's betrayal, meet its match. Stick around for this story on total revenge. The scent of roses and eucalyptus filled my shop. Petals by Mira as I tied a satin ribbon around a bridal. Bouquet, my fingers trembling slightly from nerves. The morning sun streamed through the storefront, casting soft shadows on the wooden floor I'd sanded myself when I opened 3 years ago. Today was my final day of work before my wedding to Liam, a carpenter who'd built the shelves lining my shop with his own hands. I'd spent months planning every detail, from the lilac centerpieces to the string quartet playing our favorite song. Tessa, my older sister by 4 years, had promised to help, her laughter filling our planning sessions as we tasted cakes and picked linens. "Mira, this'll be the wedding of the century," she'd said, her hazel eyes sparkling, though now I wondered if I'd missed a flicker of envy. I set the bouquet in a cooler, its glass door fogging slightly, and checked my phone, a text from Liam glowing. "Cannot wait to marry you tomorrow, love." My heart fluttered, but a nagging unease lingered. Tessa's recent silences and sharp comments about Liam echoing in my mind. "You're sure Liam's the one, Mira?" Tessa had asked last week, her voice casual but pointed as she rearranged vases in my shop. I'd laughed, brushing it off, thinking she was just protective, her 32 years making her feel wiser. "He's perfect for me. Tessa, you've seen how he lights up my world," I'd replied, adjusting a peony in a centerpiece. She'd smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes, her fingers pausing on a stem as if holding back words. The bell above my shop door jingled, pulling me from the memory, and Mrs. Carter, a regular, stepped in, her perfume mixing with the floral air. "Myra, these bouquets are stunning. You're going to outshine everyone tomorrow," she said, her smile warm as she picked up her order. I thanked her, my cheeks flushing, but Tessa's voice from yesterday rang in my ears. "You're lucky Liam's sticking around. Not many guys would." I pushed it away, focusing on the roses, their petals soft as hope, but the unease grew, a thorn pricking my thoughts. The rehearsal dinner that night was at Willow Grove Inn. It's a charming venue with fairy lights strung across a cedar patio, the air rich with pine and roasted lamb. Liam stood beside me, his hand warm in mine, his blue eyes crinkling as he toasted our guests, family, friends, my shop assistant, Lena. Tessa was late, her seat empty next to our parents, who sipped wine and chatted about their vineyard investments. "Where's Tessa?" I whispered to Liam, my lace dress brushing the floor as I scanned the crowd. "She texted she's running behind, some work emergency," he said, squeezing my hand, his calloused fingers grounding me. When Tessa finally arrived, her black dress clung to her frame, her makeup flawless but her smile tight, like a rosebud refusing to bloom. "Sorry, Mira. Client drama at the gallery," she said, kissing my cheek, her perfume sharp and unfamiliar. I nodded, but her eyes darted away, and I caught her glancing at Liam, a look I couldn't place. Not warmth, but something colder, calculated. The rehearsal ran smoothly, the officiant guiding us through vows as the quartet practiced their violins, humming like a heartbeat. Tessa stood as my maid of honor, her posture stiff, her laughter forced when Liam tripped over a step, his grin sheepish. "Careful, Liam. Don't want to ruin Mira's big day," she said, her tone teasing but edged. The guests chuckling unaware. My parents, Evelyn and Mark, clapped politely. Their smiles practiced, always more focused on appearances than affection. Growing up, they'd favored Tessa, their golden child, her art gallery successes plastered in their Portland home. While my florist shop was cute but small time. "Mira, you'll outdo us all tomorrow," my mother said, her voice syrupy, but her eyes flicked to Tessa as if comparing. I ignored it, focusing on Liam's arm around me, the warmth of his flannel shirt against my skin. But Tessa's quiet whispers to my cousin Nora, across the table, her head tilted too close, set my nerves on edge, a warning I couldn't yet name. Wedding morning dawned bright. The Oregon sky a soft blue, the air crisp with the promise of June. I stood in the bridal suite at Willow Grove, my ivory gown shimmering as Lena pinned my veil, its lace delicate as a spiderweb. The mirror reflected my dark curls, my hazel eyes bright with anticipation, but my hands shook as I clutched a bouquet of white roses. Tessa bustled in her burgundy maid of honor dress, swishing, her smile wide but her eyes darting like she was searching for something. "You look perfect, Myra," she said, adjusting my train, her fingers lingering too long, her touch cold. "Thanks, Tessa. I'm so glad you're here," I said, hoping to bridge the distance I'd felt growing between us. She nodded, but her gaze flicked to her phone, a text lighting up the screen before she tucked it away. The organ began to play, a soft melody drifting through the open window, and my heart raced, ready to walk toward Liam, toward our future. The ceremony was set in the inn's garden, rows of chairs draped in white linen, peonies and lilacs spilling. From every corner, my own designs brought to life. Guests murmured as I stepped onto the aisle, Liam waiting at the altar, his suit tailored, his smile wide enough to light the world. My father escorted me, his grip firm but distant, his eyes on the crowd, not me. The quartet's music swelled, and I focused on Liam, his steady presence calming my nerves. Halfway down the aisle, a sob broke the air, loud and jarring. And I turned to see Tessa standing, tears streaming down her face, her hands clasped dramatically. "I can't let this happen, Mira," she cried, her voice carrying over the music. "Stopping the quartet cold. Liam's been cheating with his ex. I saw them last week. I have proof." Gasps rippled through the guests, my mother's hand flying to her mouth. Liam's face paling as he shook his head, stunned. My heart stopped, the world tilting as Tessa's words echoed, her tears glistening like a performance. Liam stepped forward, his voice low but firm. "That's a lie, Tessa. I've been with Mira every night. You know that." The guests whispered, eyes darting between us, the air thick with shock and curiosity. Tessa pulled out her phone, holding up a blurry photo of a man who vaguely resembled Liam, kissing a woman in a dimly lit bar. "I didn't want to ruin your day, Mira, but you deserve the truth," Shay said, her voice breaking, but her eyes gleamed with something triumphant. My parents stood, my mother hissing, "Mira, is this true? As if I'd done something wrong." I looked at Liam, his eyes pleading, then at Tessa, her posture too perfect, her tears too convenient. In that moment, I knew she'd planned this. Not to save me, but to steal my moment, to make it hers. I didn't scream or cry, though my chest ached like it was splitting open, the bouquet trembling in my hands. "Tessa, you're lying," I said, my voice steady, cutting through the murmurs. "Liam's ex lives in Seattle. We've been planning this wedding for months. You've helped me." Tessa's face faltered, but she doubled down. "I'm protecting you, Mira. You're too naive to see it." The officiant cleared his throat, unsure, as guests shifted uncomfortably, the garden's beauty now a backdrop to betrayal. Liam reached for my hand, his touch warm, grounding, but I stepped back, not from doubt, but from clarity. "I'm done," I said, turning to the guests, my voice calm but firm. I dropped the bouquet, its petals scattering, and walked back down the aisle, my dress trailing. Leaving Tessa's performance behind, the bridal suite felt suffocating as I shut the door, the organ's last notes fading, replaced by the hum of shocked voices outside. Lena followed me, her eyes wide. "Mira, what's happening? Is Liam really cheating?" I shook my head, pacing, the lace of my gown catching on the floor's edge. "Tessa's lying, Lena. That photo was staged." "I know it," I said, my mind racing, piecing together her recent silences, her sharp comments. I pulled out my phone, texting my best friend, Sadie, who'd been seated near the back. "Record everything Tessa says. Get her phone if you can." Sadie replied instantly. "On it. She's still crying, crowds eating it up." I sank onto a velvet chair, the room's floral scent now cloying, and noticed a letter tucked in my purse, its envelope worn, addressed in my grandmother Clara's handwriting. My breath caught. She'd died 2 years ago, but her love had always been my anchor, unlike my parents' cold ambition. I tore open the letter, my hands shaking, the paper smelling faintly of lavender, Clara's favorite scent. "Myra, if you're reading this, you're facing a choice," it began, her elegant script steady as her voice once was. Left. "You a trust fund, $15 million managed by my attorney, Rachel Klein, to secure your independence." My heart pounded. $15 million, a sum I'd never imagined, hidden from my family's grasp. "Tessa may try to take what's yours. Her envy runs deep. But you're stronger than she knows," Clara wrote, her words a warning I'd ignored too long. The letter listed Rachel's contact, urging me to claim the trust at 28. Or upon marriage, whichever came last. I was 28, my wedding day now a ruin, but this letter was a lifeline, a way to fight back. I called Rachel, her voice calm over the line. "Mira, I've been waiting. Clara knew you'd need this. Meet me tomorrow." The door burst open, Tessa storming in, her tears gone, her face flushed with anger. "Mira, how could you walk out? You embarrassed me in front of everyone." I stood, clutching the letter, my gown's train pooling like spilled cream. "You lied about Liam, Tessa. You ruined my wedding for attention," I said, my voice low, steady, though rage simmered beneath. She laughed, sharp and brittle. "You're so naive, Myra. Liam's not good enough for you. I was saving you." Lena hovered by the door, her phone discreetly recording as I'd texted her to do. Saving me or stealing my day? I shot back, stepping closer, her perfume sharp as her betrayal. "I have proof you're lying, Tessa, and I'm not letting this go." Her eyes widened, but she smirked. "Try it, little sister. No one will believe you over me." I left the inn, driving my old hatchback to a motel on the edge of town, its neon sign flickering like my resolve. The room was stark. A single bed, a chipped table, the air heavy with stale coffee and regret. I spread Clara's letter and Rachel's contact details across the table, my phone buzzing with texts from Liam. "I love you, Mira. I didn't cheat. Please talk to me." Sadie's message followed, got Tessa's phone. "Photos edited, timestamps fake. She's bragging to Nora about teaching you a lesson." My blood ran cold. Tessa hadn't just lied. She'd crafted a public humiliation, knowing our parents would back her star daughter. I called Liam, his voice breaking with relief. "Mira, I swear I was with you last week, not some ex." "I know," I said, tears pricking. "Tessa set this up. I'm going to make her pay. The trust fund was my weapon, and tomorrow I'd start building my revenge, one petal at a time." Rachel's office was in a quiet brick building downtown, its oak door creaking as I entered, the scent of leather and coffee grounding me. She was in her 60s, her gray hair pulled back, her eyes sharp but kind, like Clara's had been. "Mira, your grandmother trusted you with this," she said, sliding a folder across her desk. "Its pages detailing a trust fund of $15 million. Tessa and your parents can't touch it. Clara ensured that, but she warned me Tessa's envy might surface. Rachel added, her voice steady. The folder held bank statements, a trust agreement, and a note from Clara. Use this to protect your heart, Myra, not just your future. My hands trembled, the sum overwhelming, but Clara's faith in me was a fire, reigniting my resolve. Tessa ruined my wedding with a lie, I said. I want to expose her, legally, publicly, without losing everything. Rachel nodded. We'll start with a cease and desist for defamation. And I have Clara's records of Tessa's past manipulations. They'll help. Back at the motel, I reviewed the folder. Clara's notes chilling in their clarity. Tessa had demanded money from her at 16, spread rumors about cousins to isolate them, always craving the spotlight. One entry dated 3 years ago. Read, Tessa mocked Mira's shop, said it was a waste. I see her jealousy growing. Mira must be ready. My phone buzzed. 19 missed calls from Tessa, her voicemails shifting from fake concern to anger. Mira, you're overreacting. Come back and talk. Everyone thinks you're crazy. Sadie sent another text. Tessa's telling guests you ran because Liam's guilty. She's got mom and dad convinced. I forwarded everything to Rachel. My fingers steady now. The trust fund a shield I hadn't known I'd need, Tessa thought. She'd won, stealing my day, my joy. But I was just beginning, my plan taking root like the flowers I loved. Tomorrow I'd meet Sadie and Lena, gather more evidence, and show Tessa what happens when you betray the wrong sister. The motels? Silence wrapped around me, but Clara's letter glowed in my mind. A promise of justice yet to come. I locked the motel door, the click echoing in the dim room. The neon sign outside casting a flickering glow across the chipped table where Clara's letter lay open. My phone buzzed again. Tessa's 20th voicemail. Her voice syrupy with fake concern. Mira, please. You're worrying everyone. Just come talk. We can fix this. I deleted it, my fingers steady now. The sting of her wedding day stunt fueling my resolve like gasoline on a spark. Sadie's text followed. Tessa's. At the end telling everyone Liam's ex sent her the photo, she's got a fake email to prove it. The audacity of her lie, weaving a web to trap me in shame, made my jaw clench. But Clara's words echoed. You're stronger than she knows. I opened my laptop, the screen glowing with Rachel's email, a draft cease and desist letter for Tessa's defamation, and started typing notes. My plan to expose her taking shape like a bouquet coming together stem by stem. The trust fund, $15 million, was my shield. But the town's trust was my weapon, and Tessa didn't know I was ready to wield both. Tomorrow I'd meet Sadie and Lena to gather more evidence, and Tessa would learn what happens when you try to steal a sister's light. The morning air was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth as I drove to Sadie's cafe. A cozy spot with mismatched chairs and the warm hum of espresso machines. She sat at a corner table, her curly hair tied back. Her phone opened to a screenshot of Tessa's fake email, the timestamp edited to look recent. Mira, this email's a joke, sent from a burner account Tessa created last week. Sadie said, sliding her phone to me, her voice low but fierce. Lena joined us, her apron smudged with flour from her morning shift, holding Tessa's phone, which she'd borrowed during the chaos yesterday. Tessa was texting Nora about framing Liam. She didn't even lock her phone, Lena said, her eyes wide with disbelief. I scrolled through the messages, Tessa's words cold and calculated. Mira's too soft, she'll run, and I'll be the hero. My stomach twisted, but I forwarded the texts to Rachel. Each one a petal in my growing case, proof that Tessa's spotlight grab was premeditated. We're going to the inn today, I said, my voice firm. I want Tessa to see I'm not running. Willow Grove Inn buzzed with post-wedding gossip, guests lingering over brunch. Their whispers sharp as I stepped onto the patio. The fairy lights now dim in daylight. Tessa stood near the bar, holding court with our cousins. Her burgundy dress replaced by a sleek blazer, her smile radiant as she spun her tale of saving me. Mira's heartbroken. Poor thing. Liam's ex was at his apartment last week, she said, her voice loud enough to carry, guests nodding sympathetically. I approached, my boots clicking on the cedar, and her eyes flicked to me, her smile faltering for a split second before recovering. Mira, you're here. Thank God, we were so worried, she said, reaching for my arm, her touch rehearsed. Like a stage actress. Stop lying, Tessa, I said, loud enough for the crowd to turn, my voice steady despite the pounding in my chest. You faked that photo. You set up Liam to ruin my wedding, and I have proof. The patio fell silent, Forks pausing, eyes wide as Tessa laughed, high and brittle. Mira, you're upset. Let's talk privately. You're embarrassing yourself. I held up my phone, Sadie's screenshot glowing. This email you showed. Everyone, it's from a burner account you made. Tessa, the timestamp's edited. Gasps rippled through the crowd, our cousin Nora stepping back, her face pale as she realized she'd been part of Tessa's script. Tessa's smile froze, her hands fidgeting with her blazer. That's ridiculous. Mira, you're paranoid. Liam's not worth this drama. Liam appeared at my side, his flannel shirt rumpled, eyes tired but fierce. Tessa, I was with Mira every night last week. Your photo's a lie. The guests murmured, some pulling out phones, recording the showdown, the air thick with tension like a storm about to break. You wanted my wedding to be about you, I said, stepping closer, her perfume sharp as her betrayal. But I'm not letting you rewrite my story, not this time. Tessa's eyes darted to our parents, standing by the bar, their faces unreadable. But I saw my mother's hand tighten on her wine glass, a crack forming in their perfect facade. Left the inn, my heart racing but my steps steady, Liam's hand brushing mine as we walked to my hatchback. Mira, I'm so sorry. I should have seen Tessa's jealousy sooner, he said, his voice thick with guilt, but I shook my head, squeezing his hand. This is on her, Liam, not you. We'll have our day, I promise, I said, the trust funds. Wait, in my mind, a tool to rebuild what she'd tried to destroy. Back at the motel, I called Rachel, her voice calm over the line. I filed the cease and desist. Tessa's been served at her gallery, and I'm digging into her financials. Clara's notes suggest she's been skimming family funds. My breath caught. Clara had documented Tessa's demands for money. $5,000 here, $10,000 there, always claiming gallery expenses. She's been using Mom and Dad's accounts too, Rachel added. I found transfers. To her personal account, $20,000 last year alone. I sat on the motel bed, the springs creaking, and opened Clara's journal. Its pages filled with Tessa's manipulations, a pattern I'd been too trusting to see. File for an audit. I told Rachel if Tessa's stealing, the town needs to know. I want her lies exposed. The next morning, I met Sadie and Lena at the town library. Oak tables smelling of polish and old books. A quiet space to plan my next move. Sadie spread out printouts. Tessa's social media posts boasting about her heroic moment at my wedding, each one twisting the knife deeper. She's got half the town fooled, Mira, but the other half's skeptical, especially after your scene at the inn, Sadie said, her eyes fierce. Lena handed me a USB drive. I recorded Tessa at the inn. She admitted to Nora she edited the photo to make Liam look guilty. I plugged the USB into my laptop, Tessa's voice crackling. Myra's too perfect. I had to knock her down. The photo was easy to fake. My blood boiled, but I saved the file, emailing it to Rachel with a note. Add this to the defamation case. It's proof of intent. The library's silence amplified my focus. Each piece of evidence, a petal in my bouquet of justice. Tessa's lies wilting under scrutiny. We're going public, I said. But first, I need to talk to Mom and Dad. They've been enabling her too long. My parents' house loomed on the hill, a glass and stone fortress that screamed wealth, its manicured lawn a stark contrast to my shop's cozy chaos. I knocked, my mother opening the door, her silk blouse pristine, her smile tight. "Mira, you shouldn't be here. Tessa's devastated by your accusations." I stepped inside, the marble floor cold under my boots. My father in the living room, his wineglass glinting as he scrolled his phone. "Tessa lied, Mom. She faked the photo to ruin my wedding." "And you're defending her," I said, my voice steady but sharp. My father looked up, his eyes narrowing. "Mira, you're causing a scene. Tessa was protecting you. Liam's not good." "Enough." I pulled out my phone, playing Tessa's recorded admission from the inn. Her voice smug, Mira's, too perfect. I had to knock her down. My mother's face paled, her wineglass trembling, but my father scoffed. "She's dramatic. Myra, you're blowing this out of proportion." I stood taller. "I'm filing a defamation case, and I know Tessa's been skimming your accounts. You can't ignore this anymore." They exchanged a glance, my mother's lips tightening. "Tessa wouldn't steal. Mira, you're mistaken." But doubt flickered in her eyes, a crack in their loyalty. I left the door clicking shut behind me, their silence louder than any argument, my resolve hardening like dried clay. Back at the motel, Rachel called the audits underway. "Tessa transferred $15,000 from your parents' vineyard account last month, claiming it was for art supplies." My heart sank, not just for the betrayal, but for how blind I'd been to Tessa's envy, her need to outshine me at every turn. Clara's journal lay open, an entry from 5 years ago, chilling. "Tessa resents Mira's independence. She'll strike when Mira's happiest." I texted Sadie and Lena, "Meet me at the community center tomorrow. We're planning a public event to set the record straight." The motel's neon buzzed outside, but inside my plan bloomed, a vision of Tessa's lies unraveling before the town. I fell asleep, Clara's letter under my pillow, its promise of strength guiding me toward justice. The community center was alive with chatter, its wooden beams strung with fairy lights for a charity auction, a perfect stage to expose Tessa's deceit. I arrived early, helping Lena arrange floral centerpieces, their jasmine scent mingling with coffee from the buffet. Sadie set up a projector, her laptop loaded with Tessa's texts, the fake email and the in recording, ready to play for the crowd. Mira. The town's buzzing, half think Tessa's a hero, half think she's jealous. Sadie said, her voice low as guests trickled in. Tessa arrived, her smile radiant, unaware of my plan, chatting with the mayor about her galleries. Latest exhibit. I approached the podium, my heart pounding but my voice clear. "Thank you all for coming. Tonight's about truth, not just charity." The crowd hushed, eyes on me. Tessa's smile faltering as she sensed the shift. "My sister Tessa, lead. At my wedding, claiming my fiancé cheated, she faked evidence to steal my moment." "And I have proof," I said, clicking the projector to show her texts, her voice echoing Mira's, "too perfect." I had to knock her down. The room erupted in murmurs, Tessa's face flushing as she stood. "Mira, this is low. You're twisting everything. I was protecting you." Sadie stepped forward, holding up Tessa's phone. "This has the original photo edited on your app, Tessa. You planned this for weeks." The mayor's wife gasped, whispering to her husband. As Tessa's allies shifted uncomfortably, their faith in her cracking. Liam joined me, his hand steady on my back. "Myra's telling the truth. Tessa's lie cost us our wedding, but we're stronger than her envy." Tessa's eyes darted to our parents, seated near the front, their faces stony, my mother's wineglass untouched, a rare sign of unease. I continued, "Tessa's also been stealing from our family, $15,000 last month alone, and audits proving it." The crowd's whispers grew louder, phones recording as Tessa's composure shattered. Her voice shrill, "You're lying, Mira. You're jealous of my success." I held her gaze. "The truth's out. Tessa, you can't rewrite this story anymore." She stormed out, the crowd parting, her heels clicking like a retreating storm. But the damage was done, her reputation in tatters. My parents followed her, my father muttering about family disgrace. But their silence toward me spoke volumes. Their loyalty still with Tessa. Sadie hugged me. You did it, Mira. The town's on your side now. As guests approached, offering support, their words warm as the jasmine air. Rachel texted cease and desist served. Audit found $25,000 more in transfers. We're filing fraud charges. I nodded. The community center's lights glowing like hope. My wedding day stolen, but my strength reclaimed. Liam squeezed my hand. We'll have another ceremony. Mira, just us, no lies. I smiled. The trust funds weighed in my mind. A tool to rebuild our future, Tessa's spotlight dimming as mine burned brighter. The auction continued, but my focus was on tomorrow, meeting Rachel to finalize the legal steps. Tessa's betrayal, the spark that lit my revenge. The next morning, I drove to Rachel's office, the town quiet except for the rustle of leaves skittering across the road. Her desk was piled with papers, the audit reports detailing Tessa's theft. $30,000 total siphoned from our parents' accounts over 2 years. Mira, this strengthens your defamation case, and we can press charges for fraud. Rachel said, her pen tapping rhythmically. I nodded. Clara's journal open in my lap, an entry from last year chilling. Tessa asked for $10,000 for her gallery. I refused. She called Mira a dreamer. Who'll fail? My phone buzzed. A text from Liam. Town's talking about your speech. Tessa's gallery lost 2 clients already. I smiled, not out of spite, but because the truth was spreading like roots breaking through concrete. File the fraud charges. I told Rachel, but give Tessa one chance to come clean publicly. She needs to face this. She drafted a letter offering Tessa a meeting to admit her lies and theft. Or face court, my final olive branch to a sister who'd burned our bond. Tessa's gallery was a sleek space downtown, its glass walls showcasing abstract paintings. The air sharp with turpentine and ambition. I walked in, the letter in my purse, finding Tessa rearranging a display, her movements jerky, her eyes red-rimmed. Mira, why are you doing this? You humiliated me last night, she said, her voice low, accusing, as if I were the betrayer. You humiliated yourself, Tessa. You lied about Liam, stole from Mom and Dad. All to outshine me, I replied, sliding the letter across a glass counter. She scanned it, her face paling. Fraud charges. Mira, you're going too far. I'm your sister. If you stop being my sister when you ruin my wedding, I said, my voice steady, the turpentine stinging my nose. Admit the truth publicly, or this goes to court. Your choice. She laughed, bitter. You'll regret this, Myra. I always win, but her hands shook. Betraying her bravado, I left the gallery, the sun warm on my face, the town's support. A bomb after Tessa's venom. Sadie met me at the cafe, her laptop open to a local blog. Tessa's gallery is getting trashed online. Mira. People are calling her out. The post detailed my community center speech with comments from guests. Mira's the real deal. Tessa's a jealous fraud. My heart lifted, but guilt lingered. Tessa was my sister once, my best friend, braiding my hair under summer stars. I texted Liam, meet me at the park. I need to clear my head. We sat on a bench, the Willamette River sparkling, his arm around me. You're doing the right thing, Mira. Tessa can't hurt you anymore. Clara's letter burned in my mind, her trust fund a lifeline. But her belief in my strength was the real gift. Tomorrow I'd meet Tessa for her decision, my plan poised to bloom. Her lies wilting under the town's gaze. The meeting was set at the town hall. A neutral space with high ceilings and the faint smell of wax and history. Tessa arrived late. Her blazer wrinkled, her smile gone, flanked by our parents, their faces grim, their support for her faltering. Mira, this has gone far enough. Drop the charges, my father said, his voice clipped. His tie perfectly knotted despite the tension. I stood at a podium, Rachel beside me, her folder thick with evidence, Tessa's, texts, bank records, the in-recording. Tessa, admit you lied about Liam, admit you stole, or we go to court, I said. My voice echoing, a small crowd of locals watching. Tessa's eyes flashed. You're ruining my life, Mira. For what? A stupid wedding? Rachel stepped forward. $30,000 in theft, Tessa, and defamation. The evidence is clear. The crowd murmured, Tessa's face crumpling, her defiance cracking as she realized the town saw her true colors. She sank into a chair, her voice small. I was jealous, Mira. You had Liam, the shop, everything I wanted. The admission hit like a gust of wind, raw and unexpected. My mother gasping, my father looking away. I faked the photo, edited it to hurt you, and I took the money to keep my gallery afloat. Tessa continued, tears falling, no longer staged. I nodded, my throat tight. You'll make a public statement, Tessa, and return the money or the charges stand. She agreed, her head bowed, the crowd whispering, some with sympathy, others with disdain. Rachel handed her a prepared statement, detailing her lies and theft, to be posted online by tonight. I left the town hall, the air lighter, my wedding's ruin no longer defining me. But Tessa's confession a step toward justice. Liam waited outside, his truck parked under an oak. His smile a promise of the wedding we'd reclaim, my plan unfolding like petals in spring. The town hall's heavy oak doors swung shut behind me. The echo of Tessa's confession lingering like the faint wax scent in the air. Liam's truck idled under the oak tree, its engine a low hum. His silhouette steady through the windshield, a beacon in the storm of my sister's betrayal. I climbed in, the leather seat warm from the afternoon sun, and he reached for my hand, his calloused fingers grounding me. You did it, Mira. She admitted everything, he said, his voice soft but proud, his blue eyes searching mine. My throat tightened. Tessa's words. I was jealous. Mira, you had Liam, the shop, everything I wanted. Replaying in my mind, raw and jagged. I nodded, clutching Clara's letter in my pocket. Its promise of $15 million of silent strength, but her belief in me, the true fuel for my fight. It's not over yet, I said, my voice steady. Tessa's statement goes online tonight, and the fraud charges are still coming. The truck rumbled forward, the town's quiet streets blurring past. My plan to reclaim my wedding and my life blooming like a rose in full defiance of her thorns. Back at the motel, the neon sign buzzed, casting a pink glow across the chipped table where I spread out Rachel's folder. Its pages heavy with Tessa's financial scenes. $30,000 stolen from our parents' vineyard accounts, documented in bank transfers, each one a betrayal hidden behind her gallery's polished facade. My phone lit up with a text from Sadie. Tessa posted the statement. It's viral towns tearing her apart online. I opened the local blog, Tessa's words stark. I lied about Liam's infidelity, faked the photo to hurt Mira, and took money from my parents to save my gallery. Comments flooded in. Tessa's a fraud, Mira deserves better, and petals by Mira's the heart of this town. My chest lifted. The town's support a warm tide, but guilt flickered. Tessa's tearful confession haunting me, her broken voice a reminder of the sister I'd once loved. I called Rachel, her line crackling. The statement's a start, Myra. But the fraud charges are filed. Tessa's facing court unless she cooperates fully. I closed my eyes, picturing our childhood. Tessa braiding my hair under starlit skies and said, give her one more chance to return the money. Then we move forward. The next morning, I met Sadie and Lena at the cafe. Its espresso hum and cinnamon warmth, a comfort as we planned the next step. Sadie scrolled through her phone, showing me tweets. Tessa's gallery canceled an exhibit. Clients are bailing, she said, her curls bouncing with excitement. Lena leaned in, her apron crinkled. I heard from Nora. Tessa's panicking. She called Mom and Dad, begging for help. My parents, Evelyn and Mark, had stayed silent since the town hall. Their loyalty to Tessa wavering, but not broken. Their vineyard empire always their true child. They'll try to protect her, I said, stirring my coffee, the spoon clinking softly. But the audit's public now. They can't hide her theft. Sadie grinned. The mayor's wife shared your story. Mira said you're a hero for standing up. I smiled, but my heart ached, the weight of exposing my sister a burden I hadn't expected. We're holding a town meeting tomorrow, I said. I want everyone to hear the truth, not just Tessa's lies. The town meeting was set in the community center, its beams still strung with fairy lights, now glowing softly in the evening. Dusk. I arrived early, arranging peony centerpieces, their sweet scent mingling with the crowd's murmurs as they filled the seats. Liam stood by me, his flannel shirt brushing my arm, his presence a steady anchor as Tessa entered. Her face pale, her blazer swapped for a plain sweater. No longer the radiant star. Mira, can we talk? She whispered, her eyes red, her hands twisting a tissue, but I shook my head, pointing to the podium. Say it to everyone. Tessa, the truth. All of it, I said, my voice firm. The crowd watching, phones ready to record. Rachel stood nearby, her folder open, ready to present the audit. $30,000 in theft laid bare. Tessa climbed the podium, her voice trembling. I was wrong. I faked the photo to hurt Mira. I stole money because my gallery was failing. I'm sorry. The room was silent, then a slow clap started. Not for Tessa, but for justice. The town's faith in me, a warmth that outshone her faded spotlight. My parents sat in the front row, their faces tight. My mother's wineglass absent, her hands clasped. Too tightly, my father's jaw set like stone. Mira, you've gone too far, he said after Tessa stepped down, his voice low, accusing, as if I'd betrayed the family. You enabled her, Dad, $30,000 stolen, and you looked the other way, I replied, my voice echoing, the crowd nodding in agreement. Rachel stepped forward, her voice clear. The fraud charges are filed. But Tessa can avoid court by repaying the money and cooperating with the audit. Tessa nodded, tears falling. I'll pay it back, Mira. I swear. I was desperate. My mother stood, her voice shrill. This is a family matter, Mira. You're airing our shame. I faced her. You chose Tessa's lies over me. Mom, this is about truth, not shame. The crowd murmured, some shouting support. Mira's right, Tessa's the liar. And I felt the town's embrace, a chosen family stronger than blood. I left the meeting, Liam's arm around me, the night air, cool. The stars bright above the Willamette River, a reminder of Clara's love. Back at the motel, I reviewed Rachel's latest email. Tessa had transferred $10,000 back to our parents' account. A start, but $20,000 remained. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Tessa, her voice broken. Mira, I'm trying. I'll pay it all. Please don't hate me. I didn't hate her, but trust was shattered. Her jealousy, a wound that would take time to heal. Sadie texted, Town's planning a fundraiser for your shop, Myra. They want you to reopen. Petals by Myra had closed after the wedding. The emotional toll too heavy, but the trust fund, $15 million, gave me options. I called Liam, his voice warm over the line. Let's reopen the shop, Mira, and plan a new wedding. Just us. I smiled, the motel's neon fading as hope bloomed. Tessa's betrayal a shadow-eyed outshine. The fundraiser was held at the town square. A week later, with booths selling crafts, music from a local band, and my peonies decorating every corner. There sent a promise of renewal. Hundreds showed up, their donations pouring in, $5,000, then $10,000. For Petals by Mira, not knowing I had Clara's trust. Mira, you're our heart, the mayor said, his wife handing me a check, her smile genuine. Unlike my mother's, Tessa appeared, her face drawn, check for $20,000 in her hand. It's the rest. Mira, I sold a painting to cover it. I took it, my fingers brushing hers. A flicker of our childhood connection. But I kept my distance. Thank you, Tessa, but we're not there yet. She nodded, stepping back, the crowd watching, some whispering sympathy, others judgment. Liam stood by the band, his guitar in hand, playing our song, his eyes locked on mine, a vow stronger than the one we'd lost. I addressed the crowd, this shop, this town, it's my home. And I'm reopening with your love, my voice breaking as cheers erupted. My revenge, not in Tessa's fall, but in my rise. Petals by Myra reopened the next month, its windows gleaming. New shelves built by Liam, the air rich with roses and possibility. The trust fund covered renovations, $10,000 for a new cooler, $5,000 for inventory, but the town's support was the real gift. Tessa's gallery struggled, clients gone, her reputation tarnished, but she started volunteering. At a community art program, a small step toward redemption. My parents called once, my father's voice stiff. "Mira, we're sorry. Can we talk?" But I declined. "Not yet, Dad. You chose Tessa's lies too long." Rachel updated me. The fraud charges dropped after Tessa's repayment, but the defamation case held, a public apology required. I planned a new wedding, small, at the riverbank. With Sadie, Lena, and Liam's family, no spotlight for Tessa to steal. Clara's letter sat on my shop counter, a reminder of her faith. You're stronger than she knows. Guiding me as I rebuilt my life. The shop's bell jingled, a customer's smile welcoming me back, and I knew I'd won. Not just against Tessa, but for myself, my future, my truth. Liam and I set the wedding for a quiet September evening. The riverbank lined with lanterns, my peonies woven into an arch, their scent soft in the dusk. Sadie was my maid of honor, her laughter warm as she pinned my veil. No Tessa in sight. Her absence, a choice I'd made. The town showed up, their faces glowing, the mayor's wife bringing a cake. Lena arranging flowers. The community, my family now. Liam stood at the arch, his suit simple, his smile brighter than any spotlight. His vows steady. "Mira, you're my home. No lie can change that." I spoke mine, tears falling. "Liam, you're my truth, my forever." The river's murmur. Our music, no organ to falter. Tessa sent a letter, not an invitation. "I'm sorry, Mira. I'm trying to change, and I kept it unopened. Not ready to forgive, but leaving the door ajar." The trust fund, $15 million, funded a scholarship in Clara's name, $10,000 a year for local artists. A legacy of creation, not destruction. As we danced under the stars, the town cheering, I felt Clara's presence, her strength in me. Tessa's betrayal, a fading shadow. My wedding day, finally mine. Months passed, the shop thriving, customers streaming in, their orders for weddings, and birthdays a testament to the town's trust. Tessa moved to Portland, her gallery closed, working at a small art school. Her texts rare but sincere. "Mira, I'm proud of you. I'm trying." I replied once, "Keep trying. Tessa, maybe." One day my heart opened but cautious, her jealousy a scar that lingered. My parents sold their vineyard, their wealth diminished, their calls less frequent, their apologies hollow without action. Sadie and Lena became my daily anchors, their laughter filling the shop as we arranged bouquets, their loyalty a balm. Rachel closed the defamation case after Tessa's public apology. A blog post read by thousands. "I wronged my sister. I let envy win. I'm sorry." The trust fund grew, investments yielding $20,000 monthly. Funding community projects, a garden for the school, a park by the river. Liam built a home for us, its wooden beams carved with peonies. Our life rooted in love, not lies. Every morning, I opened Petals by Myra. The bells jingle a song of victory. My revenge, not in Tessa's pain, but in my joy, my truth. My chosen family. Winter brought a quiet rhythm, the shop's cooler humming, its glass fogged with frost, my breath visible as I arranged holly and poinsettias. Liam worked beside me, his tools clattering, building a display for Christmas orders. His presence a steady warmth. A letter arrived from Tessa, Longer this time. Mira, I'm in therapy. I see what I did. Can we meet? Her words tentative. A seedling of hope. I showed it to Liam, his eyes soft. It's your call, Myra. You've got the strength to decide. I waited, days turning to weeks. The letter on my counter beside Clara's, their words blending, strength and forgiveness. A delicate balance. The town's support never wavered. Customers bringing stories, Tessa's teaching kids art. She mentions you with pride. I texted her. Coffee next month. Neutral ground. A small step, not a leap. Petals by Myra glowed, its windows bright. With holiday lights, my heart full, not with revenge, but with a life reclaimed. A sister's betrayal answered with a legacy of love. Have you ever faced a betrayal that stole your moment? What gave you the strength to fight back? Share your stories in the comments on Total Revenge. Let's inspire each other to reclaim our light. If this resonated, like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to know their truth is enough. My sister tried to dim my shine, but with Clara's trust and this town's love, I built a life brighter than her lies. The trust fund, $15 million, was a tool, but my strength, my chosen family, was the real victory. Stand up for your truth, no matter who tries to steal it, because your light is worth fighting for. Thank you for joining my journey. May you find your own path to shine.